I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, tonight we have 46 Washington Avenue to permit the conversion, maintenance, and use of a kollel, a place of worship. All right, we have the applicant or lawyer.
Yes. Hello. My name is Joseph Churgan. I'm the attorney for the applicant, and with me is Rachel Barres, our engineer. If if there's any of those types of questions, so we're here requesting a use variance for 46 Washington Avenue to permit a very small portion of the premises, approximately 400 square feet out of 6,000, 400 out of 6,000 square feet, to be used as a kollel. A kollel is a room where people of the Jewish faith meet and discuss religious texts together in a group. Not a very large group, certainly less than 20 people, but a group nevertheless. So the balance of the property is going to be used as a clerical / office / retail, what's permitted in the zone. We need the use variance because the property is located in the PL1 district, which does not allow for religious uses. However, right across the street is the PL15 district, which does allow religious uses. In fact, there's a church directly across the street from this property. Under New York law, religious uses are entitled to special consideration as their favored uses. Based on the special considerations, we believe that it would be appropriate for the use variance to be granted to allow the applicant to use the 400 square foot portion of the 6,000 square foot property for this religious use. We were here before, and it was a while ago, I admit that, and it was suggested that we go to the planning board and ask for an amended site plan approval and put everything on paper so that everybody understands exactly what's going on the property. We did that, and I think the planning board's approval of our use is going to be conditioned upon the variance being granted here. So that's essentially all I have to say. If there's any questions, I'd be very happy to answer.
Yeah, and I'll just chime in. It went to the planning board, not on the use issue, but on site issues. And the one, concern that the building department had was nobody had been inside. There's a number of rooms there and different uses. So the building inspector has been inside. He's verified what uses are permitted, what's there. So, if permission is given for this use, it's for that specific area. And, the building inspector, it'll go back to planning board for an approval, and the building inspector will have plans so that, in the event somebody says, hey, there's a use there that is not permitted or that did not get appropriate approvals, we have a baseline, which is right now, which is what he's already submitted. So, but it's here for that variance, as Mr. Churgan indicated. So,
Rob, if I'm not mistaken, it's been quite a few months. Were there some outstanding violations, or there were some code issues that had to be corrected? There was nothing that had to be corrected. I thought I'm a little fuzzy on it. It was quite a few months ago.
I think that was the issue. Was the building inspector had not been inside when he went. The person who gave him access didn't have access to the entirety of the building. Okay. So he did go back in, and he like I said, now he's got an idea of what's in each area.
Thank you.
Right, to answer the question, there's no pending violations.
Thank you.
except for being in there without a permission.
Okay.
Anybody else have any comments?
No comment.
No comment.
No comment.
Okay, and planning board is lead agency, so they've performed secret, made a secret determination. So if anyone's inclined, technically it is a use variance. It's not really being judged on the use criteria that's typically, done, which is that you can find no other, use for that property in that zone, or the current zoning, the property can't adhere to it. It doesn't meet those standards, but obviously the religious standards that Mr. Churgan raised, present issues, as he indicated. Right across the street is it just so happens the line goes down the, Lafayette there, I guess. It is a use variance, but you're not using the same criteria. It's really based on the religious use, and you really have to have a compelling reason not to permit something like this in that zone. Obviously, when something across the street it would be permitted.
Understood.
Thank you.
Who's got the ticker?
Can't hear you, Bruce.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay. Sorry, the ticker is the turn signal in my car.
All right.
Yeah, I have no further questions.
I have no further questions.
So if there's no
Anybody-
questions, we're looking for a motion to approve the
Anybody-
variance, and we assume it, depending on how it goes, I would prepare a decision for the board to review and approve it also.
Bruce makes the motion.
I
Somebody
second.
want to make a motion? Okay.
Yeah, Bruce made the motion, Cary second.
All right. Everybody, aye.
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 Okay.
Okay, so it's approved, and as I said, Joe, I'll prepare a decision. I'll circulate it to the board, and it'll be ready in a few weeks.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your consideration and your patience.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good
All
night.
right. Now we have Suffern Properties to permit construction, maintenance, and use of a renovation to the parking lot. Okay. They had some issues.
Yeah, good evening. It's Terry Rice.
Hi, Terry.
How you doing? How's everybody doing?
Okay.
As you all, the old building was badly in need of refreshing. The owner has done that both to the building and to the exterior. This application is really generated just by the fact that 4 parking spaces were added to the front. So, hopefully we can keep that in context, that that's really what's occurring here. Everything else is what's existed there for decades and decades. At the last meeting, the board had a couple of things that they wanted addressed. One was you wanted a letter from the fire department. You have a letter dated today, actually, that says that they went to the site to check maneuverability. They had no problem. And they said, in fact, we find a new parking lot layout may be more beneficial to their needs. So I believe that satisfies that issue. You wanted the engineer to show a full bulk chart, which in all honesty, you should have done in the first place, but that is there. You have that at this point in time. It also shows the existing development coverage as compared to what the additional pavement for the 4 parking spaces would show. And lastly, you wanted to see a location for a dumpster, which is also shown on the site plan. You also have a letter from Mr. Gdansky dated October 7th. He mentions that the dumpster has been removed and is shown at the location relocated to spaces 42 and 43. The garbage will be picked up on off hours when no one's on the site. spaces 1 and 63 that the County Department of Planning had questioned were there previously, and he says there's enough room to back up and there's enough space to fit a car before you get to the parking spaces. So he, in his professional opinion, says that that is not an issue. So hopefully that satisfies all the issues that you had.
Anybody got any comments?
It's Bruce, so hopefully you can hear me. There was a message this afternoon about the tables going back to 1977, and then something else showing 60%. Can we just discuss that for a few minutes?
I'm not sure what you're asking, Bruce.
Well, Steve Conley sent an email, or I guess Lynn sent an email indicating that Steve found a prior bulk table that also showed 5%, but somewhere along the line, the feeling was it was 60%. Is that right, Lynn?
Well, he's in the code book that he has from 1998. Somebody, he doesn't know who, wrote in 60 in that spot. He has no idea if that was legal, like what it was. It was just written in the book.
Well,
He's
it was
not
likely,
really
it was
sure.
likely,
He did
it
not
was
see
likely Terry
anything
who wrote it in the book. So.
regarding any information. Well, it was just in his book.
Yeah,
Just written in.
I have no question that it was amended.
Yeah, it's not 5%. Yeah.
The 5% is ridiculous and probably confiscatory. I know for a fact that it was amended at one point when Ciba Geigy or Novartis was going to build another building. I can't tell you for certain what the number was. My recollection from a decade or more ago was 40, but if he has 60 written in it, that's probably what it was.
Yeah, so I think if the board's inclined to go with this, grant the variance, I'll account for, this discrepancy in the decision, but, we obviously know it's not 5.
And then we did need an override still, obviously from the disapproval. And I don't know how the county could disapprove an application for a building that's existed for decades that's being improved when they're looking to add 4 parking spaces. But I guess we're used to that. But in any event, besides the disapproval, number 1, I guess number 2, I mean, they're talking about the roof there on Park. Oh, I'm sorry. 2 is not that. Village must verify it's a legally non-conforming structure, verify that the modifications won't result in any increase. I guess that's been done. I guess you don't need to.
Yeah, that could be part of the decision. Yeah.
3, as I said, there's no new curb cut, so it doesn't need DOT approval. 6 we had previously mentioned, but that's been cured. That deals with the bulk coverage. 7 says that the development coverage must be provided on the site plan, so its accuracy can be verified. And again, just as a matter of principle, every time I see something like this from the county, it was provided to the building inspector. He's in agreement with it. If the building inspector wants more information, the applicant will happily give it to them, but it's not the county's jurisdiction to tell the building inspector what he should or shouldn't want. 8 talks about the site plan. They say it's confusing. It's not confusing, and not to mention this is a ZBA application where you wouldn't have a full site plan in any event. 9, they're talking about porous pavers, which just doesn't make sense because we have a very small increase here and they become a maintenance issue. 10 saying show the location for the snow removal. It'll be piled up in unused site, unused parking spaces and trucked off if necessary. So those are the ones that we would request be overridden.
So what is that? 1, 3, 7?
1, 3, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Okay. So the way I typically like to do it is first have a motion to approve. And if there's a motion and a second, then before we go, just have a vote to override those, and we'll do it that way. So Barry, do you want to ask if anybody has a motion to grant the variances as requested?
Anybody want to make a motion to grant the variance?
I make a motion to grant the variance.
I second it.
All right, so Barry second. So the applicant's looking for an override of numbers the county planning letter, items 1, 3, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And again, for the reasons set forth by Mr. Rice, and that will more fully be expressed in the written decision, that would be the basis for the override, or the bases for the override, I should say. So somebody want to make a motion for the override?
Rob, if I may, also override the disapproval, of course.
Right. Okay. Right. Override the disapproval and, those items. So does somebody want to make a motion on that?
I'll make the motion. It's Bruce.
I second it.
Okay. All in
Cary.
favor on the override?
Aye.
Okay. And then I guess all in favor on the original motion to approve the variances?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Again, Terry, I'll prepare a written decision for the board to look at, and I'll get it to you as well.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Everybody.
All right. Lynn, is there anything else?
Oh, you want to make a motion to close the meeting?
Motion to
No,
close?
is Ed there tonight? Ed Gonzalez? Was he here?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do see other people on. Did anybody wish to make a comment? I don't know who Margaret Graham is.
Might be too late, no?
Well, it is, but we should have asked.
She
All right.
around?
The person, Margaret Graham, is not responding, so. Okay. So no, I don't
All right.
see Ed.
All right.
Okay,
Wanna,
I just,
Or Jean, is there a Jean there?
she has not shown her face the whole time.
there was somebody at the beginning of the meeting, but they're not there now.
Okay.
So
Okay, so if you want to take a motion to,
you close the meeting?
adjourn.
I'll
Adjourn.
make the motion.
Aye, Barry. Second it. Okay, I second it. Well. All right, everybody.
All in
Have a good
favor?
night.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.